in man, because men will feel you.
Yes. But the
I'm at
container
point
is
A,
safer.
but he's not even where he is. But anyway,
He's standing closer to God.
Yeah,
The
yeah, I mean,
container has
technically.
lifted him a bit.
But if AMA comes to pick the container away.
Oh, but this time I was not in Ghana. He's not in the jurisdiction of AMA.
You will fall a heavy fall.
Humpty Dumpty. But anyway, good morning. Today is a special day for me. June 21st. It's my father's birthday, and I get to celebrate him twice in the month of June. Happy birthday, Mr. Boedi Ajiman. You know I love you. This morning I got the chance to see him and give him a beautiful warm hug. I love you. I appreciate everything you do.
Only a hug.
Daddy.
Only a hug for your father's birthday.
No, early morning, so that's all I could give.
But you didn't have a gift before.
No, that gift will follow. But it was too early. You know when it's early morning and you just wake up, nothing really amuses you that much. And so
who told you? Are you
it will
your
be
father's
presented.
head?
No, that's how we do it in my family. Please don't come and change our family tradition.
Daddy, good morning and good morning to all daddies across. Just last Sunday, we somehow celebrated. We're not too happy, but we took it like that. I mean, they have always tried to push us down there, but hey, we're surviving. We still remain the stronger sex, even though sometimes.
The Bible says, that you are the stronger sex, because if Paul will say to men that treat women as the weaker vessel, there's no displacement about that. We don't argue
when
that
the equal rights things start coming, and then when the rain started coming, they said, where are the men? The men should come and save us. See?
So come and save the situation. All right, a wonderful Thursday morning. It's a weekend, and so we're beginning to slow down, get some of the stress out, and prepare you for a wonderful weekend. Last weekend was fantastic for me. A long holiday, the Eid al-Fitr, the World Cup, and other celebrations. And of course, the Ghans lifted the ban on drumming and dancing. We want to see how this weekend would be like. I am still in that mood and hoping to have another fantastic one. But I don't know what about Johnny. And maybe Amma can start with her daddy's birthday. If we're daddy around Ghana, Africa, the rest of the world, and it's your birthday today, Amma wishes you another great one. She's there. She'll bring your gift anyway. We'll make sure.
No, but the daddy cannot bring his.
No, Amma will bring.
I will take the gift to him.
Sure, that's fine.
George, good morning.
Is it your daddy's birthday too?
Is your daddy's birthday?
My dad is in September.
Oh, it's in September. Wow. He was born in a great month, like Kwame like me. You know, so
I know that.
Which month were you born?
Born in July. So mine is next month.
July.
Yeah, 17th.
Johnny, do guys really remember their daddy's birthday?
No.
I don't remember.
I think they remember more of their mothers.
I haven't told my daddy happy birthday.
It's just the way it goes.
I did because I saw my dad say to his father, happy birthday many times.
Oh, that's great.
He would shave for his father and all that. So I think I picked it up. But over time, I forgot about it.
Great stuff.
Anyway, George, you've got the news. More about the floods?
Yeah, exactly. There's more about that. So news is up next here on your favorite morning show, Newday. I'm Josh Quinnin. You can also watch us live on DSTV channel 279. Coming up, 6 bodies, including that of a 32-year-old doctor who went missing, retrieved after Monday night stampede in Accra. Accused person standing trial for the murder of the late MPP MP for Ibuako North tells court he was contracted by some persons in the New Patriotic Party to kill the legislator. And on the foreign front, the United States government has threatened to impose visa restrictions on Ghanaian citizens. Thanks for staying. Another news in details. On to our very first story. One of the accused persons standing trial for the murder of the late MPP MP of Parliament for the Ibuako North constituency, Daniel Siedu, has told the court he was contracted by some persons in the New Patriotic Party MPP to kill the legislator. Opting to confess to the district court, Daniel Siedu said he was rather asked to accuse the NDC for the act. Here's a report by Godfrey Tanam.
Teary-eyed, Daniel Siedu raised his hands in the courtroom, signaling the magistrate he has something to say. To be clear, the magistrate wanted to know what exactly he wanted to do and whether he was going to confess, complain of conditions in the prison or anything. Daniel Esiedu, the prime suspect, said he was contracted by the New Patriotic Party to kill the Member of Parliament for the Buakwa North constituency, J.B. Dankwedu. According to him, he was asked to do this with the promise that he will be freed when the MPP returns to power, a promise that has not been fulfilled, and he thinks he has suffered enough and needs to expose those behind his action. He threatened to name the individuals. The magistrate, Eritin Simo, told him the matter is at the committal stage and will have to eventually travel to the High Court when a prima facie case is established, so he should not expect to be released after confessing. The second accused person, Vincent Bosu, for his part told the court he did not know anything about the case. He has a child to take care of, and the situation he finds himself has put him in a fix, coupled with his family rejecting him. The late J.B. Dankwedu was stabbed to death on February 9, 2016 at his Shiashi residence in Accra. Daniel Esiedu, who is the prime suspect, was arrested 2 days after the incident. Vincent Bosu was also arrested later in connection with the killing. The case has been adjourned to July 26.
And earlier, private legal practitioner Martin Pegbu said Daniel Esiedu would need to give more information to the court on his latest claims. He also noted it was too early to ascertain the truth in what the accused had told the court, noting the ensuing days would be interesting in court. He spoke to Alfredo Kanse yesterday on News 360.
This has only created a fertile ground for a lot of speculation, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, there is something to be said for that viewpoint, yes. But ultimately, what it is that that statement by itself is not sufficient for the court to convict him. In actual fact, you see, where they appear, that's a district court, it doesn't have jurisdiction to do the trial. So the trial itself will take place in the High Court. However, before they get to the High Court, it is the law that the district magistrate, in due course, would have to look at, assess the evidence that the AG has gathered, the evidence the AG intends to use to prosecute him, in order to see if indeed there's any link to the accused persons. So that is what they call the committal hearing. So when that is done, then we'll have the trial in the High Court. So the point is this: if on the day of the actual committal hearing, after the judge has assessed the evidence and thinks that there is a case, that the case should go to the High Court, it's within Esiedu's right to inform the judge. In actual fact, it's the judge who threw an invitation to him that does he want to say anything. Right. That's after he's looked at the evidence. The judge will ask him, does he want to say anything?
And this is at the High Court?
No, in the district court. So at that point, if he wants to say he's guilty, okay, that's the confession as you're talking about, it's open to him to inform the judge. Then the judge will actually write it down and add it to the bill of indictment, and the order the judge will make that he should stand trial in the High Court. So you see, so after what I'm at pains to point out is that there is a day where the actual hearing will be done. You see, he's been going to court for about 3 years now. Yes. Each day they go, that's not the committal proceedings. No, that's not. The actual committal proceedings will be conducted when the AG has closed the investigation and is ready, not just closing, compiles the bail of indictment. When we say bail of indictment, it just means generally the evidence that the Attorney General intends to rely on in the High Court. So they make photocopies, okay? There's the pathologist report, the witness statements, the accused's own statement, and any other evidence. So generally, and also if there's any murder weapon, any other like we call real evidence, pieces of material.
It's traveled for 3 years. What exactly does this particular statement mean for the case up until this point?
Yeah, so then a number of things. One, if so far, you see, just I'm guilty alone, it doesn't take the case any further as such, but rather he would have to give them, he would have to tell the prosecution, he would have to give them further details, so that what I see is that practically when he gives further details about how he committed it, then the prosecution can compare with the evidence they have gathered, whether it tallies So it will be good. If it doesn't tally, then they may then go and use the information he has given them to gather more evidence and add.
Look
so
at
that's
the
how it is.
in the pronouncements of this particular person. There's been some inconsistencies in his pronouncements in the past. So if he comes back and says, okay, I said this, that I'm accusing the MPP, but then the next time he says, well, what I said is not true, then what happens? Is he has the right to change his mind?
Oh, definitely. Yes.
So what can the court do?
No,
in such instances where in the court of public opinion, we would feed into such information already put out?
Yes. So what I mean is collateral damage. Yes, very bad, especially knowing. I mean, we all know the institutions is mentioning. That's not very good, especially for our body politic. It's so sad. But in law, generally the accused has that right to change his statement, and generally he's given so much of a latitude in putting up a defense. Sometimes even outright lies. If that's his defense, the court will look at it and will reject it. So mentioning the names of parties and the rest. For now it appears as collateral damage. But if the prosecution go into the statement, as I stated, that statement by itself will not carry the case that far.
Right.
But maybe he can give further details.
Fantastic. So the burden of proof lies with him.
Well, for now, yes. Yes, if you put it that way.
Thank you so much.
Sure. You're welcome.
Very much.
Okay.
Boring Martin Pebu's words, it's early days yet, but let's see how the story unfolds. But trust TV3 to keep an eagle eye on this development and keep you posted in our subsequent bulletins. But now let's delve into international relations, where the United States government has threatened to impose visa restrictions on Ghanaian citizens. The U.S. government says Ghana government was not complying with international obligations regarding the issuance of travel documents to Ghanaians awaiting deportation in the USA. And in a statement issued by the U.S. Embassy here in Accra, the U.S. will be forced to begin implementing the visa restrictions in accordance with U.S. law as a responsibility owed to the American people. According to the statement, the government of Ghana became a signatory to the Convention on International Civil Aviation, which obliges Ghana through its embassy in Washington, D.C. and its consulate general in New York to interview deportees on a regular basis and issue the necessary travel document. In September last year, U.S. President Donald Trump's administration announced new visa standards, saying it would discontinue blanket bans in favor of restrictions based on factors like whether countries share information about travelers' criminal histories or use electronic passports with embedded traveler information. And now the body of the 32-year-old doctor who went missing after Monday night's heavy rains has been retrieved from the Kweshi Lagoon in Accra and deposited at the police hospital morgue. NANMO says it has so far retrieved 6 bodies after Monday's rains.
Dr. Aya Hefron, 32, went missing after her car was washed away by floodwaters on the Teshi Bush Road, while her husband looked on helplessly. According to the residents, the occupants were in a Hyundai Accent saloon car with registration number GY 229113. After a search by the National Disaster Management Organization (NADMO), together with the police and military, the body of the occupant of the vehicle was retrieved from the Kweshi Lagoon.
Whenever rain is falling this way, and even the water can be as small as anything, they should not attempt to cross, because water can carry anything.
The National Disaster Management Organization said even though some drains had been dredged, more work needs to be done.
We will do the dredging, but our human activities are also parts of the reason. If you saw it on your TV and co, you could see that a lot of rubbish were in the flats. So it tells that we are not doing something right as a people. We need to reorient our mindsets as far as disposal of garbage or refuse is concerned.
The organization says it requires an LI to enforce its bylaws to pull down structures built on waterways.
But then you need to have the LI to know the hows and the when to do that. And so that is what a team of lawyers are working on the LI. They are in the drafting stage. When it is done, it will be forwarded to Parliament for the LI to be passed. And then it will give us the strong hand to execute our mandate as a disaster management organization.
The Lejokuku Municipal Chief Executive Evelyn Najilechum ordered the construction of the Teshi Demo Bridge.
The bridge is low, So any small amount of rainfall can overflow. That is causing the problem. So immediately I've asked my engineers to come and then see to it for the rehabilitation.
Monday evening's downpour left several parts of Accra flooded.
If you're just tuning in, you're watching news here on Newday. We are live on DSTV channel 279. Nayeli Ametepe, convicted for drug trafficking, has been released from jail. The Ghanaian worker has Austrian citizenship, was convicted January 6, 2015 for transporting cocaine to the UK and was sentenced to 8 years and 8 months jail term. She was convicted on her own plea by the Ellsworth Crown Court in the UK. Family sources have hinted the 35-year-old is not returning to Ghana, where her property has been confiscated, but will be heading back to Austria to live a quiet life. Sources say she was released from jail for good behavior. Nayeli Ametepe, also known as Ruby Appiah, who made the headlines late 2014 and early 2015, reportedly used the VVIP lounge of Ghana's only international airport, Kotoka in Accra, to smuggle narcotic substance via a British Airways flight. She was arrested with about 12.5 kg of cocaine with a street value of 1.9 million pounds. She was reported to have had on her $23,000 and £6,000 at the time of her arrest. In other news, the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources is rolling out a one house, one toilet program to increase household latrine ownership with a view to end open defecation. Guidelines targeted at the poor and vulnerable for basic sanitation services in Ghana has also been launched.
19% of Kenyans do not have access to any sanitation facility and therefore practice open defecation. Approximately 19,000 Ghanaians, including more than 3,000 children under 5 years, die each year from diarrhea, 90% of which is directly attributed to poor water, sanitation and hygiene. Acting Chief Director of the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources, Joseph Obeng Poku, called for an attitudinal change towards the environment.
People are defecating anyhow, and you can't stop. It will be a challenge for all of us. So we are also calling all Ghanaians that as much as possible, wherever we find ourselves, we should also be our own watchdog, so that people who are dumping refuse indiscriminately, those who are defecating anyhow, we check them. If we don't do that, we can't solve the problem alone.
Deputy Mission Director of USAID, Steve Hendricks, commended stakeholders for their collaborative efforts to help tackle the sanitation menace.
I am very, very optimistic that this is the right opportunity to begin to address hygiene and sanitation issues today in Ghana. This is the right approach, and I think the ministry should be applauded for the launch today and for its bold courage in addressing these issues head-on.
The guideline is to provide directions for stakeholders to properly target the poor and vulnerable without undermining strong community cohesion.
And on to the educational sector, where enrollment at the Table MA Basic School in the Ghana South Municipality has dropped from 329 to 260 pupils, despite an intervention by the Education Directorate to resort to the shift system. A promise by the Municipal Assembly to provide the school with a new classroom block is yet to be fulfilled after their makeshift school block collapsed during a rainstorm in May last year. Here's a report by Solis Roscotti.
On our first visit, some classes were held under trees. Some students had to bring in stools from home to complement furniture the school had. Others had to sit on cement blocks. In November last year, a makeshift classroom for the JHS pupils collapsed during a downpour. The Education Directorate had to resort to the shift system to temporarily address the inadequacy of classrooms. School authorities tell us the shift system adversely affected enrollment, which has dropped from 329 to 260 pupils. Because Table is a farming community, pupils in the afternoon shift were either late or failed to turn up. According to the headmaster, Emmanuel Bagut, the collapse of the shared classrooms caused many more JHS pupils to drop out. The remaining 14 JHS 1 pupils now occupy part of the headmaster's office, while the library now serves as the primary 4 classroom.
Authorities at the Table MA Basic School tell us that one of the worst affected areas of the school is the issue of enrollment. For instance, in 2017, 11 students sat for the Basic Education Certificate examination. In 2018, however, only 4 pupils sat. Currently, we are in the corridor that serves as a classroom for the JHS2 students. By the looks of things, only 4 students will be once again sitting for the Basic Education Certificate examination.
Since TV3's first visit, the school has received 11 desks for Primary 1 and 2, 30 textbooks, 6 round tables and 36 small chairs for the kindergarten classes from the Municipal Assembly. We are told the assemblyman for the area has presented an action plan for the construction of a 3-unit classroom block, but the contract is yet to be awarded. This news is contrary to the promise the Ghana South Municipal Chief Executive, Joseph Nyani Stephen, made in November 2017.
Very soon they'll get yes. But in the next 3 months, they should be able to get yes.
So what you're saying is if I'm to go to Table in January 2018, I won't see what I saw there today.
Yeah.
This is Table MA Basic School in June 2018.
This pump was constructed just before the elections in 2016. In the last 18 months, not one drop of water has been pumped out of this. Nothing.
A pupil, Philip Ivy, is unhappy. Although he is optimistic about his future, Philip thinks what has been done for his school so far is insignificant compared to the challenges they face every day.
Solis, Rose Quarte, TV3, Table.
And from the news hub here in Accra, my name is George Quinn. But that's how we end news here on Newday. For more news updates, log on to our website, 3news.com. Thanks for watching. Good morning.
Welcome back. Now let's get into the newspaper headlines. And the Daily Graphic starts off for us with a banner headline. Says, Nayeli set free after serving 3 years in UK jail. And presbyter dies after alleged sex act. That's the story on page 20. And I was contracted to kill JB, accused, is alleging that. Well, on the back page, because the sports all over the place, it says Ronaldo's goal eliminates Morocco and Uruguay for round of 16. Interesting there. The African countries aren't really faring well. And Ghanaian Times this morning reports that missing doctor's body found. It comes with the picture of the late Dr. Aya Hayfron, and 10 entities get 1.3 million CD grant. I was hired to kill JB Dankwa. Accused confesses in court, and witness denies describing Major Mahama as armed robber. That's those are the stories there on the front page. The Daily Guide for this morning reports EC boss must go. It comes in an exclamation mark, and petitioners submit. Doctor's body recovered from Peshi Lagoon. JB killer sings new tune. An incorruptible claim. Mahama is a big joke. NPP fires Joyce Mokhtari. There. The statement there, President Mahama says the statement has a lot of grammatical errors. It couldn't have come from his aide. Business Finder. Mobile banking transactions jump by 320.1% in 2017. Bank of Ghana. Ghana urgently needs a mineral revenue management law. How urgent is urgent? That's the question. Common external tariffs hike duties by 100%. Guta. And finally, on the front page of the B and FT, it says small pelagic fish near total depletion and use moral suasion to bring down interest rates. Professor Dudonu, second Shippers Award comes off tomorrow, and GMPC to publish public disclosure framework. So there we have it. Front page stories, interesting.
I think the most interesting one of all of them really is the JB Dankwa's, you know, person singing a different tune. Why now? That's the question, because this has been going on for such a long time, and I feel he says I'm a truthful person, and so what I say is the truth. I'm thinking, really, sweetheart, at this point, this is not the time to be singing what you want to say and saying that what you're saying is the truth. But we spent all these years, you've taken someone's life, you spoiled a family, you've destroyed a man who had a bright career, and now you're just coming to, you know, flip the story. If that's true, I'm happy, but then I hope that the court can deal with it as quickly as possible so that this issue can be brought to book, because there are families who are still, you know, as it were, mourning their dead because the story hasn't fully been unraveled and we're still dealing with it. Every day they talk about it. I can just imagine what the family goes through, and so we're hoping that it brings to finality what this case is and the truth of it. But it's sad to also hear him trying to finger, you know, political people who have been mentioned in these killings. Why would you, for want of it, but kill a friend or a man just because you want a position or because you think he stands in the way of your decision, whatever it is that the best way to go? When you killed him, are you happy now? When this whole trial is going on, what do you think about it? I'm just saddened at how Ghana politics or Ghanaians are reacting towards situations when it comes to the political arena. I think we're pushing the limits too far. We're just being insensitive. We're being greedy. We're being we're being evil. I think we're just on the brink of falling off if we don't sit up to really deal with this case as, you know, one of those cases that we try it, and if any culprit is really found, we punish them for what it is, so that we'll all learn from it, because it's terrible.
I think that the politicization of a lot of issues in this country is becoming saddening. But I wouldn't want to get into the merits of the matter because it's sub judice case in court, and you know, until he is proven guilty, he is still an accused. Was a sexy don. Okay, so but then he's made some very damaging comments, and the lawyers say the burden of proof now relies on him to ascertain his claims and confirm same. I am appalled at the length of time this case has traveled. Knowing full well that, look, the pathologist in the case, for example, was not forthcoming with the results. And same happened in the Major Maxwell Mahama case. I can, off the top of my head, list a lot of murder cases in this country, some more than 10 years that have not received, if you like, you know, closure. Openya that day, you remember him? Yeah. You remember Openya that day? You remember Peter Kojo Kenyesu, the DC? You remember Roger Kumsing? Yes, Roger Kumsing in Cape Coast. I can go on and on. The list. The guy at Tema. Yes, the banker. The banker. Plenty of those cases. So then you are asking yourself, yes, we're told that the wheels of justice grind slowly, but how slow can it get? Because each day, I mean, the widow of this man, his mother, his uncles, his family, each day they wake up and they see a front page story or they hear it be discussed. The pain comes up fresh again. Is that what we want to do to people? I don't know, but as of this point, it rests on the Attorney General to speed up the process, to conclude investigations, and to move on. Now the tune is being changed, and you see, in the legal circles, once the tune is changed, if you don't take care, you may have to restart the whole thing again. And then that is not so good. So I don't get it. Right. But I honestly think that we must try and bring finality to most of these cases.
John, it's true. Let's just hope that the courts are able to get to the bottom of it. That's all that I want to say. I mean, that confession perhaps will open the way for more investigations, and then the court can find ways to deal with it. But I rather would prefer to talk about not that it's not important, but I think the courts will handle it. That the doctor's body recovered from the patient lagoon. And you see, again, sometimes you are compelled to just talk because when you don't talk, you seem not to care. You're portrayed as uncaring. I am sad listening to government institutions and agencies after Monday's rains have caused havoc around. I heard NADMO talk about the fact that they're looking for an ally to do what? To demolish structures on waterways. In fact, when the doctor's body was recovered yesterday, I heard I think the Lejikuku MCE say that the bridge is low, so she's now going to look for some funds to rehabilitate it. Please, is this country a country of people who are serious about what they have been asked to do?
No.
Do we always sit down for these things to happen? When did NADMO come to office? And for the past 3, 4, 5 years, we have seen the challenges that heavy rains have caused today's city of Accra. And so NADMO is in office and is sitting down 2 years almost, and you are now telling me that you are looking for an ally to demolish buildings on waterways. So if nothing had happened on Monday, we'll still be sitting there. Except NADMO can show me document that we have started the process of getting an ally in place. But for you to sit down for what happened on Monday to come and tell us that we're now looking for an ally to go and get the right to demolish buildings on waterways, it's unfortunate.
I know that NADMO had kick-started the if you will, the processes to get the LI, because as of now, they don't have, if you like, the legal muscle to go and demolish. Even the district assemblies, after publishing for 14 days or so, they need to come in and get a court clearance to go and demolish.
To pull down the structure.
So our laws itself puts them in a certain corner.
Great.
Okay.
But see, it's been in the process.
The law puts them in a corner. However, there are other things that they have. The law also puts them in those same corners, but they've been able to entangle themselves. I mean, this whole hogwash, cock and bull story that we're getting, it doesn't sit well with me.
It doesn't.
Look, I have been talking, for example, about if you're driving from Labadi Beach Hotel towards Bemakam, the Peshi, that small bridge there.
Right.
There's a very sharp, there's a big block of pavement right in the center.
Before you enter the bridge.
Beautiful.
Proper.
It has no reflectors. I've been talking about it for 2 years. The street lights on that stretch, within that short, stretch, is off.
They don't work.
Now, the Ladma, Lekma, whichever it is, they know about this.
The boundary is there.
I have called them. I have spoken with them. I have told them. I have alerted them. We have made reports on Community Connect. It's been 2 years.
It's
no show.
there.
So they are waiting for one day somebody who doesn't know the route to drive into it. And then the car somersaults.
Johnny, the point is that it is not even somebody. If I don't know how to put it. If an ordinary person's vehicle get crashed into that thing, it is a normal thing. Until a public official crashes into that before we get to know.
make noise about it.
Madam was saying that she's not getting her engineers to go and look at the bridge. So all this while,
what was she doing? I agree.
The engineers have been doing what? They haven't seen the bridge.
And you know that for every assembly there are engineers.
There are.
For every assembly.
There are.
So the last time I spoke with the AMA over the Dakuman Junction, the Dakuman Junction has water that's come on the street, so it's damaging the structural architecture of the building around the Kokompe, the EcoBank, Unibank is right in front of the bank. So I spoke with the AMA. I asked them, look, what's happening about this thing? He said, well, we're trying to get a contractor to look at it. And I was like, wow. So is this same AMA, if you have a bit of rubbish in your home, they will come with summons and tell you your place is untidy. Meanwhile, it's their responsibility to manage the whole city and ensure that that situation, smelly, stinky, rubbish, and nasty and everything.
And they're only saying this because we're on their necks, because someone has
died.
If no one did, that's the question right to ask. What are you doing when you wake up and you go to the office? For the many years that you've been there, what have you been waiting for? You wanted someone to die, and then you give us this response. And then we'll forget about it again until someone dies again on that road, and then they'll rush to respond.
Monday floods, took the life of another young boy.
Yeah,
was a young boy,
six people.
Six people. But you see, the conversation is around the medical doctor because of the premium that has been put on the medical doctor.
Yeah, we have lost so much.
And because
we train
and because the husband of the medical doctor has also been speaking, the other families aren't speaking, so nobody seems to be focusing on it. And sometimes I think that our leaders actually hate us. They hate us.
No,
they hate us. They hate us.
We have written certain laws into Parliament because they serve the very purpose why we told the people we want to govern you.
Right.
Now, if, like you said, NADMO had kick-started the process of getting an ally, what is causing the delay? And is it not serious that we can wait when the rains come, then we come and say, oh, we are getting the ally to come and demolish the rains. When the rains are gone, we're back to normal.
I think that the president is on a sacking spree, asking people to proceed on leave. Maybe he should ask a few people at NADMO and the EPA to go on leave as well, to go home. Like, he should ask a few people to go home. That I give you the job to make sure that, because part of NADMO's work,
we knew the rains were coming.
Part of NADMO's work, part of their work is to prevent the disaster from happening and not to come and manage the disaster.
Find a way to deal with it.
You get the point.
Anyway.
So the president should, Mr. President, good morning to you. Maybe you should sack a few people. The Minister for Local Government, maybe you can sack a few people. Good morning. But happy birthday to Sylvia Yaira Nyamalo. It's your birthday today. She's a friend on Facebook. It's a special day.
She's safe. The rains are still coming.
Yeah, they still are coming. And on that note, let's step out to see what you have to say as the rains are hitting the country. Of course, we know the floods will always come, but what are people doing about it? How prepared are you? And of course, some distressed residents at the Teshi-Peshi area have been speaking to us about what they think.
This is what it feels like. Nobody here knocking at my door. This is what it feels like.
Morning, and you're coming to you from Teshi Demo here in Accra, and this is exactly the place where the car of Dr. Ayopon was washed away, and she drowned in the process following Monday's downpour. And we are told 5 other people lost their lives in part of Accra and this really exposes the poor drainage system we have in Ghana and the lip services attached to the tackling of perennial flooding. And so we are here in the community to engage residents here to really seek their concerns and thoughts, and also how well we can tackle perennial flooding here in Accra. This is Daily Rant. Let's keep talking.
It's very no cranium and me that ramen because a hammer a titty me. So will be a said will be back or back come say. Now in sweat me in the quatch. I said, I dare ask if a hard ye. Tia slapper ya any pie one crahano. Ye near honey and fireball a home. Ball at titun so come with Finny Dawson. I got an so the way I got an SCI and yet I was a by boy. Near you got a ye. A by be about some may I got an man, no more that I near to a bamom. Yet two we are, ya got an no more that I say my ready semi cocoa motiway. Say ya got away my mean to a baby. Obedient to me because me to a baby. Nasa got an better hammer, mean be in so a fan cordia. Nay, who answer me yada, me to a back, me Marco school or crime way as road Riana, me Mafaso, Echo School, and in your make run up wire and so no Antoria. And soon to 3 o'clock, and I'm crying up point bank, as some papa, Nanyame boy, and so to Anajo. And Tina Cobani saying, and so I ye into a sweat a bind. Why ye now got away, dear. More dear, first can be my a sika.
George, for me, I live here, and I wouldn't say this is the first time. At least it has happened twice. Okay, but anytime they come around and they tell us they will come and construct the road, we don't hear from them, and it's pathetic. This is a situation where we've lost a doctor. Just look at it. Coming to work as a doctor, saving lives. It's what do you think? So if we live in this as a nation, that's what we say, it's a community. We have an MP, we have assemblyman. What do you see going on? A assemblyman 2 years ni ontwa so da senate ya net here bridge no mo ye insuo to na ugina ha if I'm standing here insuo no beda me ha I'm telling you can't pass here it's anya me wan say car insuo no to me for car no ko but with the woman we've lost their life what can we do there's nothing else we can do
flooding e ade etesi de bia de bia be kan wasem but afifi for ba insuo sabe mene ye pese bibi nsisan I think yes you nsisan your attitude
oh yeah
bala na ye di good attitude
your attitude you was say you guys say you dumping refuse for gutters pneumonia there but you should ask say what about the road is the road constructed properly are the gutters made properly you should ask yourself a contractor is not omuye ejuma no omuye bibia correctly and because we can't live in an area where we keep seeing dead people and then you say we are voting for what
we dey nya ball na dey ma me koye Ensuo na de ne koe na se ya gota no kama.
Ba me hwe echi wono bola ho aye ho ma.
Bola ne de.
Ti bola so kan.
Me wutu me fo. Na se me meti ase, na se we anti ase a. The same asem kro no a. Me meti ase obi so nti ase. Nti obi wo ho a wo be obi nya na ne nyina ne se. Na nam pesika no mra na ya fanya gota no wo ma mpi me ya gota no maye. Wo ya gota ne kama.
Don't say nya ha na nsuo you other places.
Baby na make us say MP last 2 weeks ye ne kasa o kan no asem se meboa on kasa meboa ye ba ye meeting on ye be kasa se ono so da bia na de srede o de sra na na do ne se omo ano no maye gota ye wo hai enti ye sra na onti me maye gota we emwa ye gota no ne ade srede ehia ye
about the refuse dump no the road itself
so did you see the
George I live here I know what you are talking about okay the refuse they come from afar you see it's a hill the refuse are not from here I'm telling you, if I should take you on an excursion, you will see where the refugees are coming from. I'm telling you, the road is not in good shape. And I wouldn't say if you any pana yete hanom. There is and the mudi muhuni here. Yeah, boy who modin di muni and they catch up.
So one thing when you say buying person on tackle flooding in Sabia, you go form almost sit down water waste. I say you relocate your move. Baby said that be say in so ye a fun. Ye kase on to a better song. And you see a problem.
But now, because we want to identify us, we want to say we see it down. Listen, the life is at stake, okay? But O2 accommodation, O2 alcohol, or yeah, then did or feeding a bar. Does it work in Ghana?
Me pay yano me be check akana me same ko den ba about 10 na me emergency me same pui me pui no na anyina ayema na me hu se ka bi esi na ye munumunu wana kai na mi nyina mi su a mi kikemu be wa na mi hu se taxi driver bi abatwem na mi hu se ye kita baka fruit ye di mo bi na onsom nti ye gina na mi hwe se ye di ade ne ma onipa ko no ye di ma no onto mi nsom na mi so mi keke mo mi so mi bompa obia mi hu obia na so obi nso ba ohun ba bi obegina fiti pra na ko ayema nti mi yesa mi hu ka no na ha no mehwa ka no asi ne trase so oko na mi kemu nobody can help me mi kekemu obia amba na mi hu se ade no ka no na oko na mi papa bi gina na me nim se ne yere no ba de no ko na papa no pia me no fro me wall no so di ka na echi ba na me nim se ne yere ana me hu se oba na ehye ka no mu no me nim na me ye be hu akọ
when there is rain this bridge always chokes on the June said last 2 years ago a big stems of a tree blocked this bridge under. Okay. As a result of that, all the houses in this area was flooded. Now, since that time, we are worried.
This is more like a flood-prone area. I think you guys know.
Exactly. Yes. This water came from long distance. It's a big gutter from top. So the pressure is even from mountain up to this place.
So you guys all want us to tackle the perennial flooding. It's a great concern. Yeah. So should the AMA say you guys should vacate? Are you ready to go?
Any program.
Not all of us are staying in
we
this
are not going because our bridge is escaping us. Any baby Sebi in Trebrasa, keep what's here, a cross or better me a cross you. She said, yes, see, you move, be our baby or free. Who Pokumasi, them be brave or being them. By young crap one, young property, and your bed property name Ponu, Sino. And a mock I just a question Ponum, and on America.
That means if you have to say people to go, that means you are talking from Tebibiano up to this place because the house here. I mean, I'm not staying beside the riverside, but my house is inside. But what occurred to this? What happened to this bridge affects everybody here. For instance, the day it was rainy. I was coming. I saw the heap of water. I couldn't sleep in my house. I had to turn back. I went to sleep in the guest house.
So what did the doctor do same?
Now what happened? That many people park here. She was deceived by the taxi driver.
So she thinks she
thought she could make it. Yeah. So before it starts here. So what happened is that this bridge, even at times after the rain, you can't pass there because debris, everything is blocked.
Are you ready to relocate? We are ready.
Even the stones you are seeing on the ground, we bought and filled this whole place. We filled this place with those broken blocks and concrete blocks.
Me go school, me Elizi, me a work school no Gladys. Damn all your bridge, you know. Me Lizi, no me catch them your Gladys and it's a quarter no you know. It's not that decisible. On premi, ne yon tokwa, me see bridge no go through. I say it's not concern me. Me I'll chop money already. I say no. She can be wawa, would you overfee?
Simple, overfee.
Yeah, you should bigger picture. Me can't say in general in Ghana. Then a bear my Twitter and you will learn to
okay, near your bear man to attract the baller. Any more January Sipono, Musu, January Sipono, Musu, Abren, you know, Mobekwa, Arans, Mobefa, Obi, say, Percy, Yambre, so thank us to the war. Thank us to the number what I saw, okay. So, Wopanawa Yan or Bessamau. It's the best in Jacka, Mobe Namufia, Mobe January Sipono, no more Namufia, no more check. Here we are, no more. Need to so be back one and me and what to say Hanu, what you so be said, what you got away so me banner me won't say where I will go a metal, sir. In share what they share every 2 years so another baby and so on, not so much of pasta, no more share. Now, me, my imagine say, I'm by Britain now, my Yabaqua democracy, Yaqua democracy. One more the palace ball, Baba has a young boat to not breaking.
So these are concerns of distressed residents of Teshi Demo lamenting on destruction of flooding each and every year, and they want government to rectify this to end this menace. Let's know what you should think watching home. Log on to our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's News on TV3, and on Twitter, it's a News TV3. I'm Josh Quinny. Thanks for watching. Good morning.
Right, welcome back. Our daily guide, incorruptible claim. Mahama is a big joke. NPP fires Joyce Mokhtari. That's on the front page of the guide. Nayeli set free after 3 years in UK jail. That photograph is here. I was contracted to kill JB. Accused is said to have told the court. The Times has that same story. I was hired to kill JB Dankwa. Accused confesses in court and stabilize the city. That's according to the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce. And then the missing doctor's body has been found. The Times reporting that. The BNFT says use moral suasion to bring down interest rates. Professor Dodonu is suggesting that the Finder business has mobile banking transactions jump by 320.1% in 2017. That's the Bank of Ghana's report there. Those are some of the stories we'll take a look at this month. My guest to do the talking, to my extreme left, Member of Parliament for the Infantsiman constituency, member of the NPP, Honorable Eko Hayford, is here. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hope you're doing great.
By the grace of God, I'm doing great.
So your constituency didn't get rains that could cause havoc, I'm sure. Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet. We hope by the grace of God
you won't go
no havoc will occur in our constituency. we are doing all, you know, it is not only about the rains as well, but it's also about human intervention as well. So much as we expect the rains to set in, we as human beings should also do our best to keep our environment neat. We have to stop putting garbages in most of the main drainages that have the access or the potential of causing a flood anytime it rains. So we are doing the necessary sensitization to our public that it is not only the state that has a responsibility. As individuals, we should also take it from that point of view. Together, we can help maintain our various constituency. Let me take this opportunity also to greet your cherished viewers as well. To the people of Infantiman, I know they are watching me, especially to the people of Salt Pond. Hopefully, this August we would be celebrating our annual festival, Odambia, and I will take this opportunity to invite TV3. It has been one of the well celebrated festivals, and this time we want to do it on a grand star. So I'm taking this opportunity to inform you as well.
We'll be there. Thanks so much for joining us, Member of Parliament from Infantiman, and the former Member of Parliament for the Adentan constituency, a former presidential staffer, Honorable Kwejo Edwasari is also here. Good morning too. Hope you're great. Your constituency has issues with flooding, I guess. Adentan is well known. A lot of the areas get flooded anytime there are rains.
Well, there's this part around the... Good morning to our viewers and yourselves. Somewhere around the lake side areas. Yeah, those are the places where usually when it rains, such issues occur. So far, there hasn't been any
reported incident yet.
Yeah, because there was this bridge that used to cause some challenges. At the time, it hadn't been properly constructed. So it created a lot of challenges for motorists, you know, crossing from one end to the other. But since that was done some 3 years or so ago, it has really dealt with that situation. So we pray that even though we are being warned that there are a lot or more torrential rains expected, we can only give a what do you call it? I don't want to say warning, but caution or whatsoever to people that, hey, it's our life, it's our environment, it's our neighborhoods, and our own, let me say, our own safety is key. Nobody can protect you better than yourself. So in as much as there is the need for others to come, or let me say government has a role to play in all of these, one has to also be or take cognizance of the fact that when it comes to matters of or like what we call the acts of God, there is sometimes the extent to which man can go, but beyond it, it becomes a bit difficult. The only thing we can do is to take precautions and ensure that the important thing for me where government comes in a lot is the meteo. They should give as much information prior to the event, because whatever happened the other day, if they had given that warning that, look, there's going to be this heavy rains, it's likely to flood
parts of the city and other places.
Yes, we didn't get that feel of, even though I'm sure some level of sensitization, but it didn't give us that indication. And of course, that's how the acts of God usually happens, unexpectedly. But of course, today technology can deal with some of these things, even with hurricanes and typhoons and all those other whatever. They can be predicted ahead of time, and people usually are evacuated from those nerve centers of such disasters. So they mitigate, or let me say minimize the effect of damage or the extent of damage.
So these are the kind of things we expect technocrats in this regard, Matthew and all those people working within that environment. Then we come to the city authorities also. We are in a rainy season. It's time to begin to there are flash points, or let me say points where we all know that whenever it rains, these areas are flooded. We are not oblivious of that fact. So we should be able to notify people ahead. Whenever rainy season is started, we should be able to notify people that, look, there's people within this catchment area. Get out of this place if you can within the next 1 month or two. Look for a place, move, and whatever. It will help all of us. Or even when the floods start, instead of waiting for the incidents to happen and for us to have aeroplanes flying across to just flying, let me say, stakeholders to go and assess the extent of damage. They should use the technology properly. Fly drones to, be able to monitor exactly, know where the challenges are, and warn people not to, this doctor who passed away, the lady doctor whose car skidded off the street, the bridge, and entered the flood, for instance. I'm sure, well, it could happen to anybody, but if that road had been cordoned off of a sort, I'm sure it could also have saved other people. So let's learn from these things and improve them or improve on them as we get along. Otherwise, it becomes a cycle of, the same issues every year.
Okay. I'm grateful for your time. Now, let's touch on this one too. The Daily Graphic has a story. The Times has a story too. I was contracted to kill JB Dankwa. Now, Mr. Asiedu, Daniel Asiedu, one of the two men accused of murdering the former MP for Ibuakwa North, has confessed before the Accra District Magistrate Court that he was sent by some persons in the NPP to kill the lawmaker. He said while in detention, one of the alleged sponsors visited him and asked him to pretend it was the NDC which assigned him to kill the late legislator. In his voluntary confession, the accused, who is facing 3 counts of murder, conspiracy to commit robbery, and robbery, said, "My Lord, I want the world and the country to know that I have committed a crime." And then when he was asked if the confession was induced or voluntary, Asiedu responded in the affirmative and added that I'm a truthful person, so I'm speaking the truth. He was asked to go on, and he told the court that this is the situation. He was sent to kill the man. Honorable Hayford, are we making inroads as far as unraveling what happened that night with this confession? Or perhaps the confession is rather getting the whole issue messier?
Before I do that story, let me use this opportunity to, I think my co-member also shared the same sentiments to express our sincere condolence to the family of the doctor. In fact, I was shocked when I heard the sad incident, looking at the fact that having clothes from his lawful duty, returning home, met her untimely death through flood. I think it's quite, I have still not recovered the shock of how she was carried away. So I believe the family would also be in the state of despair. But what I want to say is it's unfortunate it has happened. Now back to the story. It's quite laughable. It's quite laughable. And for me, if people should think that they can deceive this country, then of course people should have a second thought about their thinking level. I am happy he has confessed that he was hired by somebody or unquote group of people to kill Honorable late JB Dankwa. His confession alone has given an indication or has given evidence which would enable the prosecuting officers to use it as a case against him. The interesting thing is he keeps on saying one thing at one point, another time he says another thing at another point. I am daring him, and of course the prosecution officers will also be available. Nobody is afraid of what he has said. He should go ahead and mention names. If he is saying that he has the names, nothing stops him. He would, the cases are the commuter states. Right. When it is moved the high courts for the prosecution itself, he has the chance, and he will be given the ample time to mention names. So he shouldn't feel like mentioning names that he was contracted by the MPP. The MPP as a party will be scared of it. I am daring, and the party is also daring, that we want to get to the bottom of the matter. That is why when we came, we made a pledge to the good people of this country that I am a member of parliament. My co-partner is also a former member of parliament. Nobody will sit down for this thing to happen to him. And if somebody who was arrested by the police, he was a suspect, unless the case is proved beyond reasonable doubt with all the evidence, then the suspect in the case, or now the suspect tends to accuse, confess that he killed him, but then he was contracted by somebody. then he's a joker. We are daring him, and I am daring that he should go ahead and mention the names, because the president has said it over and over that crime is crime, irrespective of any political party in which he belongs, and nobody will sit down for a murder case to be committed and for that person to go scot-free under the pretense that he was contracted by one political party. He's a joker, and I think that it's a very interesting case. It's going to be a fine case for Ghanaians. Everybody will be quiet. Everybody will be eager to follow the matter to its logical conclusion. I think he should come again. And if he was advised, I would say he was ill-advised or he was ill-coached, because so far as the records are concerned, the New Patriotic Party is well positioned. But it is our baby, because he was a member of our party who lost his life. And if you look at the circumstance in which he was murdered, if you have the courage to commit a serious crime like this, and now you come to tell Ghanaians that you were contracted by a political party. I was thinking when he said he was contracted, he should have gone ahead to mention him so that the people involved will have been arrested now. We are waiting for him. And I want to send this signal to all the criminals. It could be somebody saying that when you are committed or when you are caught in a criminal offense, you think you can tag a political party or a politician to it. It will not fly. It will not fly under the regime of the New Patriotic Party and under the regime of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana.
Grateful. Honorable Edwasari, so the key question for me is whether the confession makes the case easier, or perhaps it gives the prosecutors more work to do.
Well, I think what is important is the commitment of the state to unravel the mysteries surrounding the murder. When I say mystery surrounding the murder, the manner in which it was done, who did it, and whether what's the punishment that will be meted out to whoever did it. It's been quite a while since these guys have been in custody, since the case started, and if I'm not mistaken, it's taken almost 2 years to get to this point. And one would want to find out what had been happening between that period and now, before this other angle of the issue came up. But what is important for me, whether it's a New Patriotic Party who said, because New Patriotic Party is not a human being.
Right.
It's a party made up of people. And it will be good to find out or to pry further to get this man to if he's really telling the truth as he claims, he should go ahead and mention whoever he claims sent him or was behind or masterminded this whole murder issue. Ghanaians will want to know. Ghanaians are interested in it. J.B. Dankwa was a fine gentleman, a very good friend, and all of that. And it's sad that a young man of, that vibrancy will just be murdered the way he was. And it also, if we don't show that commitment to try and unravel who the real perpetrator of this crime is, then a lot of us as politicians can say we are not safe, because it happened to him, it could happen to anybody, God forbid. But the system should also give some, or let me say, lend some confidence to the whole country for us to know that they are interested in looking for the solutions, or let me say, or getting to the logical conclusions. Yeah, I don't care whether it's NPP, whoever. For me, that angle is not what is important to me. Right. Because I wonder if NPP as a party will go and sit down and have a meeting, or let's finish this man, or let's do this, or let's do that. But it's not also out of place for somebody within the party, or somebody who belongs to that party, to have masterminded it. It's not out of place. It could happen. So let's get to, we all belong to a party anyway. So if it's the person it ends up that the person is a member of a New Patriotic Party, I'm not sure the guy would be lying if we find that the case is true. But as I said, it's early days yet. The lawyers are saying all kinds of things. I heard this lawyer this morning saying that the guy could be suffering from some psychiatric issue. And I just laughed. That's all. I just laughed. I don't know why I laughed, but I knew certainly there are possibilities of manipulations here and there when you hear some of these things beginning the way it's going. And we only pray that the police and the judiciary system will give Ghanaians that confidence that people have lost in them. The fact that under this regime, people don't feel that when cases go to court or go to the police or the CID, especially when it has to do, anything that has to do with the New Patriotic Party is handled in a certain way. If it has to do with somebody in NPP, NDC, like Koku Anidoho's case, it's also handled in a certain way.
I don't think you are trying to suggest that the public does not have
want to come in
no,
now.
I don't think
I was going to
he
give you a chance to react, but if you want to come in now,
I don't think
I ask him to hold on for you to come.
No problem.
No, okay. Well, you say what you want to say, or otherwise I should go on.
Okay, please go.
Yeah, because you see, for me, why I'm saying this is that even recently, this Ghana card, there was this, some of the presidential staffers, including Gabi, tweeted or put something on Facebook.
The allegation is that they were the source of the fake card.
Exactly.
Right.
What has happened to them? The police is sitting there and watching. This is pure crime. To clone a card using somebody's particulars. It's criminal. Okay? Yet these people are still sitting at the office of the presidency, and walking scot-free. So if I am talking about where matters concerning the NPP is led to run anyhow without any serious look into it, I have basis. And just recently, about a week ago, is when these things happened. Nothing. It's just another thing that I just washed off. The NIA came and debunked the fact that they haven't issued any such whatever. So where did they get it from? And why did they circulate? I'm surprised that the names they mentioned, the MPs whose names were mentioned, are just watching. They should go and report to the police. Why somebody would take their particulars and clone cards in their name and carry them around. It's criminal. And I will tell Akando, Agalga, and Adongo, all three of them, they should go and report this case to the police and make sure people are punished for such heinous crimes. Is it because they are special? Is it because they are close to the president? And I heard my brother nicely saying that the president will make sure that certain, whatever, he doesn't want some issues to be, for them to be paid, or he won't watch some things to happen, crime and blah, blah. Exactly. So I'm talking about things that are happening right under his belly, in his own backyard. Gabi came out, Samuel Brian Boabi, and all those people, they work at the presidency. And these are the ones doing these things. So if the president has any examples, it should start from his home. Recently, somebody just wrote a small Facebook comment that had to do with some tribal issue and whatever. They gave her a 30-day suspension. Also a presidential staffer. This is something internal, their own party issues, and their party people got angry about her. So somebody acted and gave her a 30-day whatever. What about this? Between these two, which is better, which is grievous? So please, let's show Ghanaians that we are consistent with the things we say. We don't say one thing on this side and turn around to do something else, and then you want us to hold you in high esteem. I don't think it's
okay.
All right.
If you want to react, I mean, he's suggesting that things are happening within people who belong to the government that are not handled in good stead by the police.
You see,
and he cited examples.
You see, it is dangerous for him as a member of parliament, a former member of parliament, right, and a presidential staffer, to sit here and create the impression that the police under the MPP is not fair.
He cited examples.
You see, I'm saying it is dangerous, because if he sits here and say this thing, the very police hard-working people who protected him and his government only 18 months ago, now you are sitting here telling Ghanaians that confidence is no more there. He should be ashamed of himself. He should, because I know why. I'm coming. I am coming, please. You see, when issues come for investigation, murder cases, the case started in February 2016. 2016, it was under their watch. Ask him, what did they do?
As in what?
How they handled the case. You see, in murder cases, when somebody is going to be sentenced for life, you need to establish that there is enough evidence. The suspect has given confessional statement. The prosecution statement has also gathered the necessary incriminating evidence. Because you cannot just go to sentence somebody by mere word of mouth. That is why in murder cases, it normally drags for some period of time, but not for a very long time. If the case is less than 2 years, so what is he talking about? What is he talking about? You see, when we tend to incite people, or we tend to create the very institution who have been working for every political party, when it is your time, you tend to say they are doing well, but when it is not your time, you tend to condemn. I think, Honorable, you owe Ghana Police Service. You owe Ghana Police Service a very good apology. Now let me come to Kuku Ayinde. What did the police do? You should tell me, what did the police do? That he thinks that the police acted above or beyond their civil responsibility. He should tell Ghanaians what the police did, that to him was contrary to the laws of this country. Now on Gabi and Boabina Samoa, I am daring him, Akando. He's a practicing lawyer. Those people whose names popped up, if they think they have grounds to suggest that it was Gabi or Chidaku who did it, What stops them from going to court or reporting the matter to the police for them to be arrested? We don't sit here and make allegations.
What are you saying? You think it was right for someone to have done that, or what?
It is not right, and I'm saying it's an allegation.
Okay.
Unless, of course, he sitting here is calling on and I'm also calling on the members of parliament. They should go to court. They should report the matter to the police that I'm coming. They have reasonable grounds to suggest that it was these people who did the forgery Ghana card on the social media. They should
Shouldn't the government be worried about this? Government has a mandate to protect citizens. Now, what has happened is a crime. Whether it was done by people from the presidency or wherever, shouldn't the government worried about getting those involved to be picked up?
You see, when you look at
it, government responsibility?
It is government responsibility to protect the integrity of our data system. We need to provide to protect
its citizens.
And its citizens.
If someone picks someone's data,
we need to guide against cyber crimes. And I know that this matter is being investigated. You see,
so it's being investigated.
Yes, of course. You know,
by the Ghana Police Service.
Yes, of course. You see, when things are being investigated, you don't just come to the public domain to throw any information when you don't have any evidence. So I am telling him that the 4 affected members of parliament, at least I know 2 of them are lawyers. Lawyers. They should go to court, or they should report the evidence they have. They should take it to the appropriate court, so that those people will be picked up. Investigation carried out, then we establish the truth in it. But if you come here,
if they don't report, the question I'm asking is, if
I am
they
saying
don't,
that
is government not interested in getting those who did it?
It is not only even the government, the National Education Authority is interested in the matter. That was why the chief executive officer issued a statement to it, because we need to protect the integrity of our data. So if our data can be hacked in, can be tampered, then of course it's a serious problem. So it is being investigated. But what I'm saying is, his case, he singled out certain individual, i.e. somebody from the presidency, having been linked to this one. Please, we know the harsh plan by the NDC, the calculated attempt by the NDC, that they want to paint this government with certain bad, certain false publication. And I'm not surprised he's here sitting in. We will not sit in government and allow people to waste taxpayers' money and reassign them to the presidents. No, we are going to take the bull by its horn. When a crime is committed, the people or the personality involved will be investigated. The matter brought to the public domain for everybody to have a look at it. So please, I have a special respect. He shouldn't. I am worried when, especially security matter, because look, government come, government go. Let us not politicize our security, because the moment we tend to politicize it, we are in trouble. He has benefited from it. He was being escorted every day by the same police.
For instance, can we say that the CID is doing a very good job when they're able to leak statement of people who come to the offices? Is that good enough?
Do you have evidence to confirm that it was the CID?
The CID has not come out to say that it didn't leak that information. Their duty is to keep that information under lock and key. They are not even supposed to even give it to the person who wrote it. So if it comes out, they have all they have to come and tell Ghanaians that we didn't do it. They haven't done that.
You see, sometimes the fact that the authorities concerned have not issued a statement does not mean that they are the one who did it. No. You see, when it comes to matters of investigation, you need to establish a fact. You need to establish an evidence. Remember, with modern technology, somebody can go to the police station and write his statement and take a copy of his own statement.
And a professional police officer stood there and allowed the person.
You can use your watch to take photographs.
Again, that professional CID officer stood there.
No, I am saying that since you have the right to a council, you have the right to write your own statement. Right. Nothing stops you from taking your own statement. So let us not come to the conclusion that it was the police officer who gave the information out until we are able to establish. That is my point. Okay. When it comes to, I am passionate about investigation, because until an evidence is established, you don't make a case.
Okay.
What case are you going to? We will not be in a rush to rise cases to the court for us to be thrown out. Any case that we go to court, we will make sure that at least we will secure judgment for the good people.
I'm grateful. Let's move on. Just a minute.
Just and then a minute quickly. You see, my brother, Honorable, we are not, excuse my language, you and I are not kids. We are grown up.
Yes, of course.
Do you understand? We've had cases.
That's obvious.
We've gone to police, bail people. We ourselves have had issues and all of that. And we know how the police operate. Before you even get there, your phones and other things are taken from you. Okay? Before, if you are suspected, you have to write a statement. All these things are taken from you.
It is not always the case.
It is always the case.
If you are a nurse and you have cameras,
it is not always.
How do you carry those cameras?
I'm telling that. You see,
do you understand? You see, let's not try and throw dust around.
No, you are rather trying to.
Can we have a say? Whatever. I like it when we are doing it one after the other. You know, when you are writing a statement at the police station, all these gadgets you are talking about, you are not allowed to carry them there. Do you understand? And it is up to the police to keep your statements in some kind of confidential, with some kind of confidentiality. Even you yourself, it's your statement. Why would you take your a copy of your statement and go and throw it out there? Who does that? That you write a statement and you, after writing it, you take a picture of it and go and publish it. Who does that? Who does that? So please, let's not throw, the police is not, why? We all, as a former member of parliament, I was criticized when necessary. As a former presidential staffer, there were times when I was also criticized. The police is not above criticism. They are not above reproach. They make mistakes. They are human beings. We talk about them every day. It's a matter of leadership. If this thing is beginning to blossom under this government, let's say it so that they can stop it. It's not fair that I come to your station, write a statement, know that, oh, this statement is supposed to be a confidential document. Then the next moment, it's sitting on somebody's, whatever, on Facebook, and it's a matter of discussion, and points of issues that I have written, confidential issues, are out there being discussed. It's not proper. The judge, the judiciary is also doing the same thing. People go and file cases, the next moment, those cases are out. Ditto. You understand? At what point should we hold people responsible? At what point? Okay. What is important is that, as you see, it may not be necessarily a government decision to let such a thing happen.
In there.
Do you understand? There are individuals who, yes, so let's deal with it. Let's not look at it just because one, as a government, a particular government that is in place. So when we are talking about it, we want to destroy government or want to give government a bad name. If there are bad fishes, fish them out and deal with the issues. We deal with them and make sure you have a sane system. Okay. That is all we are saying.
I am grateful. Now let's touch on the guide this morning. NDC fight Nana over Yantich's video. It says that a coalition of the APC, the PNC, the UFP, and the NDC, under the name Interparty Coalition on National Sovereignty, is seeking to project President Akufo-Addo as corrupt with regard to the expose on the GFA by Anas. That's the Daily Guide story. Now, the coalition addressed the media yesterday and said that government should set up a commission of inquiry into this. They are suggesting that what has been done so far, the actions so far taken by the Akufo-Addo administration have been wholly unsatisfactory. They are calling on the president to to set up a commission of inquiry to investigate the whole saga. They think that what has been done so far isn't satisfactory. Honorable Hifford, let me quickly come to you. We won't stay too long on this. They are simply saying that what they think government is doing to deal with the problems at the FA is not satisfactory. They need a commission of an independent commission to go into this.
Well, they are entitled to your opinion.
Okay.
And
what is your opinion?
My opinion is what the position of the government, what the government has done by setting up an interim 5-member committee to run the affairs of the GFE. We are waiting to have a discussion with FIFA on the way forward. I think Ghanaians should, when it comes to certain issues, football, especially. I don't like football, but I sometimes listen to some of the comments and sometimes look at the impact that it have on our economy and for our country. I think they should exercise patience. Let us allow the 5-member committee that has been set up by the government. Let us allow them time. Obviously, the government knows. I look at it from the point of view when people, especially club owners, who complain the fact that having invested so much in the affairs of the football, all activities has been halted for some time. I think we are trying to find a lasting solution to this menace. And obviously, I know when you look at the coalition, it's a combination of political parties. NDC is part of it. And obviously, if I'm right, you mentioned NDC.
Yes, NDC
right?
is the APC, is the PNC, is the UFP.
I would plead that let us allow matters to settle for some time. What the government is doing is not doing it for only MPP government. Government will come, government will go. Let us see how this new directives that the 5-member committee, and for that matter, after the discussion FIFA, what the roadmap will be agreed upon. Let us allow some time, because if you see, it has taken this government that bold decision, initiative to come to this far. And for me, I don't think the government will be prepared to or will be under pressure just because people think that they should set up an independent committee.
Won't it be in the interest of government? Now, the presidency was mentioned, and even though Mr. Yantechi said that he did not consult the presidency prior to his meeting with investors, you don't think that in the interest of people knowing what actually happened, an independent commission is set up so that the findings are made clear and that it will not be Mr. Yantechi saying that it is not the case?
You see, the president have trust in our institution. That was why the president reported the matter to the police. And the matter is before the approved investigative team this country. Let the police handle its criminal aspect of it. You recall that just last week or so, the same Kwesi Nyantakyi has come out to render apology to some of the personality involved. It goes to say that the man himself, who is the center of the affairs, one breath he will say this, another breath he goes to render apology, another breath. That is why, for me, I believe that this 5-member committee that has been set up, we know I look at it from the people who have invested so much in the club of this country. Let us allow them to settle. The investigation by the investigation by the criminal department will come out with the truth.
With the truth, okay. Honorable Kujasai, so this is what the coalition is suggesting, that because the presidency has been mentioned, an independent commission should come in so that it is not Mr. Yantechi saying that it is not true, but that the commission will be able to find out whether it is true or not.
Yeah, I agree with the coalition. I think any right-thinking Ghanaian will want closure on this matter. We don't want to walk around, carrying this suspicion that our president is bribable or can be induced with $5 million. His vice president can be induced with $3 million. His ministers, road minister, can be induced with $2 million. And his deputy can also be induced with $1 million. We don't want to carry that on our heads. So it will be proper for the president and his advisors to allow for an independent body to investigate this matter to its logical conclusion. Why a lot of people believe this is that this man has said a lot of things that are consistent with the truth. Do you understand? Whether or not he is the president's friend, is it true or not? It is true. Has the president mentioned did he mention him as one of the people he had to thank at the time when he won? It is true. What did Nyantakyi say? I'll take you to the president, go and sit with him. When the amount you want to give him, you tell him, and then I will collect it and bring it to you and all of that. If somebody could sit and say all of this, please, don't just brush such a thing away. You understand? Of course, the president knew very well that after watching this program 2 weeks ahead of its public showing, it could create all kinds of negative publicity for him. So he went ahead and reported the case to the police. Okay, and now the case is hanging in there loosely. What has happened in the last 1 month about that case? It's almost a month. I think today is exactly the 22nd of May. What has happened to it? Police is not saying anything, and the case is hanging. And Nyantechi keeps telling Ghanaians, today he says this, tomorrow he comes to say that, and all of that. This is the kind of impression that this government, including the president, has given to issues regarding corruption. When issues come up like that, the next moment he himself will take a certain or make a certain move to, you know, water down the effect. It happened with the cash for seat issue. It happened with this bust saga and all of that. You know, there have been opportunities for the president to demonstrate his commitment to fighting corruption. But in all cases, he himself comes ahead and does things that end up clearing the people. And this is the perception in the system. So nobody trusts it when he decides to form a 5-member to come and do what? To try and water down. The Gaka people are saying that, look, when it comes to football, we are in charge. All right? So this 5-member, you have already gone to court. You want to dissolve the GFA. The court has given you whatever. There must be a 10-day or there's some 10-day whatever before you can come back for a response or something. And within that period, you have set up a 5-member committee to do what? Is it to prejudice what the court will come out with or whatsoever? You see, they don't have patience, and they seem to be driving this whole thing to a point where they want to make this whole thing look like another wild goose chase. But there are things that Ghanaians want to know. This president has touted himself as incorruptible all over the place. Now there is an albatross that is hanging on him. He should allow civil society, or let me say an independent body, he should step aside. He should get government agencies to step aside and let an independent body investigate this matter, so that when he is cleared, we can all say that, yes, our president is incorruptible. But for as long as he continues to dabble in this whole thing, please, this albatross will hang on him for the rest of his life.
Let me just react to some few things that he said. You see, it is not for him to decide for the president.
Well, he cannot make a suggestion.
You see, he can make a suggestion, but he cannot decide.
No, he has not taken.
You see, let me tell you, the president in his wisdom feels that the appropriate agency. You see, that is where I seem to have a small problem with the way he's talking about investigation. Investigations doesn't take a day or two. He was saying that now the Kwesi Nyantechi case has been hanging for a month and nobody seems to know what is being done. Please, investigations takes.
The public should be made to the level of interest shown by the public in this case. You don't think that the police will do a lot of good if even they organize a monthly briefing on this Kwesi Nyantechi issue?
You see, let me tell you something. Coming to public, just to make a statement without enough evidence, it's nothing.
Is it better to keep the public in the dark?
No, the police. You see, you remember that somewhere last week, the police went to the premises of GFA, cordoned off the whole place to take some items which to them will help them in their investigation. Right. A lot of corruption has gone under GFA, under their watch.
Is that
so therefore, that is why the police is taking a time to allude all the cases one by one. It is not only this one. We want to look into the affairs of the GFA. We want to know how the $3 million was transferred to Brazil. It was under their watch. A lot of, you see, there's one thing that he should know that, look, GACA is the authorized...
what the police is looking for.
No, listen. The GACA is an authorized agency. But they should know that Ghana Football Association is under the Republic of Ghana. So the government has every right to step into the affairs of the GFA if he sees that things are not done correctly. We want to assure Ghanaians that, look, the police will come out with a report. That report, when people read it, they will know that really they have done a thorough investigation. Cash for seats, that he was saying. The whole proceedings was aired on television for people to have a look at it. We are in this country, when their own people, the people who claim people were bribed, when it comes to providing evidence, they couldn't. So making an allegation alone is not enough evidence for the president to stand on it. to
set up an independent
people, the president has demonstrated that anytime there is any allegation against any of his appointees, he will not sit down, fold his arms unconcerned. He will have the matter investigated. When the culprits are found culpable, they will be fired and go before the law courts.
I'm grateful. Let's wrap up on this. The BNFT this morning is suggesting that a professor of economics, Cletus Dodonu, is asking that the Bank of Ghana use persuasion to convince commercial banks to advance credit in accordance with directives of the central bank. Now, credits are so high, the Bank of Ghana keeps reducing the policy rate, and yet interest rates are very, very high. We're told that checks indicate 28 and 31%, which suggests that nothing that the Bank of Ghana is doing is working. Now, he is suggesting that the Bank of Ghana moves in to persuade or convince the banks to bring down the interest rate. Now, the Times has a story, the National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, suggesting to government to fix the depreciation of the cedi against other trading currencies to ease the cost of doing business in the country. Now, the chamber said, though it's appreciated the relative stability in the macroeconomic environment due to government sound monetary and economic policies and programs, it was worried about the cedi's recent fall. Honorable Kwejo Eduasare, let's tie the two. We have to go begging the banks to reduce the interest rates. The cedi fall, how do we deal with it? You can tie the two.
Well, when it comes to matters of economics, I'm not too good at that, but at least I'm a businessman, so I understand the
what it feels to
have. Yeah, because you see, borrowing, or let me say, going for loans and all of that credit. Most people depend on loans to run their business, you know, whether short term or whatever. But to the extent that, as at now, most of the traditional banks are giving loans with the interest rates ranging between 28% to 31%. It's a killer for any business. You understand? You go and take such a loan for any kind of business, unless it's a scam. You understand? You want to scam people. That is the only way you can make profits. You know, you can assume to make so much profit and then be able to pay off this loan and also survive. It's a killer. So, of course, for the Bank of Ghana consistently reducing its base rate and all those things, and yet it's not reflecting on the banks themselves, you know, when it comes to lending, I think it's a challenge to a lot of business people. And this government would have to do a lot more. The talking is becoming too much. The vice president is on record to have said that, of course, during the NDC period, there were high interest rates and whatever, and we're going to make sure that all these things happen. I think it is time for him to leave his talk.
It is not too early yet?
Well, it's 18 months. You know, I don't know when, what timeline he expects us to. If he has any such timeline, he should also come out and tell Ghanaians that we expect us to get to this point by this time, so that we can hold them to something. You understand? But for now, it looks like most of the things he said are beginning to play back at him. You know, the ease with which he said them and the manner in which he condemned the SYL government for managing the economy and all of that, especially when you talk about the interest rate. He said if we, the foreign exchange, whatever will expose you if you have weak fundamentals. And now the exchange rate is the CD versus the dollar. You can tell how weak the CD is becoming on daily basis. This morning before I got here, interbanks are trading from 4.71, you know, to this morning before I got here. So you can imagine how much people will buy it for at the Forex Bureau and then the black markets and all of that. You understand? So here we are. And the ex-president asked this question last week, whether or not this also can be tantamount to, what do we call that, weak fundamentals. And the vice president has been caught reeking under all kinds of pressure. He sent his, that gentleman, Dr. Buaku, who to come and explain. And honestly, they are not making any sense at all from all that they are trying to explain, because the facts are not supporting the figures. Till today, business people, if you read from this Ken Thompson, Daylex, I mean, I also heard him this morning. He said nothing. This government has done nothing to change anything from what he knew till today. Nothing has been done innovatively to change any system. So if the people within the financial environment themselves are beginning to show this despair in somebody who was touted as the best economist around town, and all his theories are beginning to boomerang in his own face, and dollar rate is becoming what it is. Traders are crying, go to the port, their things are sitting there. There's this guy who issue went viral on Facebook yesterday. Customs are seizing their things and all of that. People are talking, and I wish that they will bring themselves down from the high horse on which they are sitting right now and go down and appreciate the pain, the agony, the hardship, you know, that Ghanaians are having to go through under them. And they want to use polished language, you know, all kinds of superficial issues to just try to meander their way out of it. The truth is facing them, and people are struggling.
All right, I'm grateful. Let me go on about we should beg banks, and then the cities fall.
I think that the party is down to earth with people, and we know the problems that people are really going through. It's quite unfortunate that this story should come up. Ideally, when we came to power, we've put in enough measures to stabilize the city, and also to ensure that the interest rates, which was hovering around 3%, is reduced to between 25-28%. But what is happening is that the banks who are supposed to carry on these directives by the central bank are not doing it per the story which is coming up. I think it is unfortunate. The finance ministry has made a statement to it that looking at the drop in the cedi as against the dollar, enough measures have been put in place from the past week onwards to see the stability of the cedi. The interest rate is a matter of concern to everybody. It is not only my brother who is a business. I'm also a businessman. The people around this country are also businessmen. So I think that the stakeholders are going to be brought together to see how best this thing can be carried on to the commercial bank, who are the learning point of and learning to people. Because if people cannot borrow because of high interest rates, then of course we have a problem with our economy. And I think that because we came for the ordinary people, we came to ensure that businesses expand and not to collapse businesses, what it takes for us to do to ensure that the interest rate, which has been coming down, would reflect in the commercial banks who happens to lend money to people. In matters of economics, it will do nobody any good when you do politics with it. When issues,
what are you talking about?
Oh, let me finish. I allow you. No, I allow you to finish. You attacked Dr. Bawumia, and I was coming to it. You see,
okay, quickly.
I don't know why the NDC is afraid of Dr. Bawumia.
Dr. Bawumia was doing what?
He was not doing politics. They will continue to be afraid of
the real economics are facing him.
The truth that he said are coming to pass. When you were in government, he told you that the country will go to IMF. The former president said,
have you left IMF?
We were going to take this country. Allow me to finish the discussion.
Have you left IMF?
I believe that Dr. Bawumia is an asset to the nation. He is an asset to the nation. Whatever he said has come to pass. If for one or two reasons there are some few hitches on certain things, i.e.
when you lie once, you will have to continue lying.
Interest rates.
And that's what he's been doing.
Ghanaians, and for that matter, friends from the NDC should know that
when you lie once, you will continue to lie.
It is your government that is a propaganda government.
You lie and continue to lie, and the lies will face you.
There's the truth. And the truth has really happened.
The lies are beginning to show in figures.
Something that
in the forex,
and we will ensure that the commercial bank follow the direction.
You ensure when?
I am grateful. He's a member of parliament for the Infantiman constituency, a member of the NPP, Honorable Kor Hayford, former member of parliament for Adentan, a former presidential staffer, Honorable Kweju Edwasaya. I'm grateful for your Thursday morning with us. Stay with us. Russia has a lot of news after this. Stay on.
K from Pong with the late Omahin Pozo there. I don't understand the song, but I like it. I enjoy it. Let's talk about children and adolescents and what they eat and how it affects them, their nutrition and their lifestyles. I've been joined by Dr. Frank Owusu-Setra. He's a member of the Pediatric Society of Ghana. Doc, good morning, and thank you for coming. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I see. Yeah. Let's talk about the children these days. What they are exposed to in terms of food and adolescence as well. Generally, has the eating culture of children changed between then and now? Has it changed?
Obviously. I mean, there were times that every family ate from the family bowl.
Right.
And those were the home-made food prepared with all the things that we required. But now the springing up of fast food joints and the wache corners and all those people out there who are selling, things have become a bit difficult, and then we can see the obvious change that children are now more weaned into this fast food joints.
Okay.
So they tend to eat more of those ones than what is given to them in the house.
What could be the cause? I mean, beyond the availability of these fast foods, is it that the parents don't have time to cook, or because the society has become more modernized and westernized, so people are leaving the Mokasi culture to go into the restaurants?
I think it's a myriad of factors, but largely what you just mentioned. I mean, people don't have time now. There are people who virtually dress up in their cars on their way to school, and then by the time they get home, they will be asleep in the car. So like from morning to evening, they hardly get home, you know, because of this urban lifestyle that we have all found ourselves in. But also the fast food joints, they have made it easier for children to get hooked onto it. Their food tends to be a bit more palatable.
Okay.
And so children like...
What is inside the food that makes it palatable?
Oh, there are so many things. I think a couple of years ago, we were talking about the sodium monoglutamate.
Okay, Maggi.
Yes, and other things, you know. So they all come in, you taste it and you want to go for more, you know. So as a result, children want that. And you do the Mukasi stuff, they are not going to eat it.
Right.
Also, emerging is the fizzy drinks that children take to school. There are some children that will take only Vitamilk and other fizzy drinks.
Right.
They won't even want to touch the normal healthy meal that the parents may prepare.
Wow.
So there are a lot of things
I want us to look at the children first. So children age 0 all the way to, who would you categorize as a child?
Up to 17.
17.
So virtually 18, you're an adult. So,
okay.
Yeah.
But I want us to break the teens off. So like up to 11, some 0 to 11. These are their formative years, really, essentially. What should they be eating ideally?
What they need is a balanced diet, you know, a mix of carbohydrate, proteins, and then vitamins. Basically, yes, every child needs those ones in order to grow. I think we have moved from an era where people thought that a healthy child was somebody who looked chubby, so everything was made to make a child look very plump and chubby. Right. Now the thinking is changing now. People don't want their children to look that
chubby,
you know,
and
chubby,
obese and all of that.
Yes. So all you need is just a mix of carbohydrate, proteins, and then the vitamins. That will make a child look.
When they start getting into adolescence, for example, the young girls will start menstruating. Are there any special foods that they require to help them on that journey? Their bodies are beginning to change. They're growing pubic hair, and all the changes are coming. Does food have a place?
It does. I mean, in that you're going to require a lot more calories than you did when you were maybe 4 or 5 or so. But in terms of this particular type, I mean, what your body is going through is just hormones, and those are internally secreted chemicals that's going to determine that chemistry. So really, you don't need anything from outside. You call it exogenous. You don't need those ones to help you go through that. All you need to do is probably eat a bit more, because now your body is going to demand and utilize a lot more calories than when you were young.
A lot more adolescents are now drinking alcohol. They're smoking shisha because it's available out there. Are they in danger?
Obviously. I mean, alcohol, besides the huge calorie content, has effect on the liver. Of course, it allows you to do a lot of dangerous activities that ordinarily you wouldn't do. You know, alcohol, what it does, the first thing it does is that it will inhibit your inhibitory neurons. So if I want to slap you, something will tell me, don't slap him. You cannot. But what alcohol will do is that it will inhibit that thing that will tell me not to slap you. So they tend to do things, they are jumping, and they also engage in dangerous lifestyles, you know, having unprotected sex and other things, you know, with its consequent problems that may come later. Yes. So in that respect, alcohol is not something that should be. I mean, drinking alcohol every now and then is okay, but to be indulging in it is something that is really, really not encouraged. But again, you know, when they get to that stage, those are the period that they really need direction and help. Unfortunately, that's the time that you also tend to rebel. I mean, we all did. That you now begin to ask questions, why can I do this? And that is where you need a balance of good parenting to help you to navigate your way through that adolescent period.
Is the Pediatric Society worried about this trend? Children getting exposed to fast food, fizzy drinks, and the effect on their health? Are you worried about it?
Obviously.
How worried are you on a scale of 0 to 100?
I think we are about 80% worried. You know, because we are beginning to see childhood obesity and its attendant problems. And also, Pediatric Society has had so many public lectures and AGSM themes that focus on these trends. Unfortunately, it doesn't get to be as widely circulated as necessary. So in terms of worrying, yes, we are, and that is our aim. You know?
Do children, adolescents get the conditions or ailments that their adults counterparts get who engage in alcohol and smoking and sedentary lifestyle, for example, the diabetes, the stroke? Do children get that?
Children get them.
Are they at risk?
Children get them.
Children get them?
Yeah, children get diabetes. We have a whole day for children with diabetes clinic in Kolebu Teaching Hospital.
Wow.
We do have not necessarily a stroke clinic, but children with special needs that come. We have a clinic for them. The neuro clinic, and then a lot of children with sickle cell also develop strokes. You know, so yes, the effect of these things cannot be overemphasized. We need to start talking.
What are we doing about it?
Well, I think for starters, Pediatric Society has taken that one as our theme. Now we're talking about nutrition and lifestyle choices in children and adolescents.
Right.
And as part of it, we are going to have a pre-conference that is going to talk about epilepsy, sickle cell,
okay,
and also something that a lot of people don't know much about. It's called the CPAP, is a continuous positive airway pressure,
okay,
which helps the premature babies to breathe. You know,
okay.
Now we have a lot of fertility centers, so a lot more premature babies are being born,
right,
and there's a need for us to guide these premature babies when they come in. And one of the things, I mean, it's a basic and simple thing that we can do to help them breathe better and survive better,
okay,
is the CPAP. Unfortunately, in Ghana, we have only 2 people that have trained in what we call pediatric intensive care. So
okay,
2 pediatric intensivists.
Only?
And they're only 2, yeah.
Wow.
One in Kumasi, one in Accra. And they are both going to be in Kumasi to train the other doctors and health workers that will find themselves there, how to help these children.
At the annual general and scientific meeting.
Yes.
Wow. When is it?
It's actually starting today.
Today?
21st to 23rd.
Okay, where?
Yeah. In Kumasi, the Royal... Sorry, I think the name has...
We'll get that. Yes. But while we go, I mean, there's a parent out there who's perhaps worried. If they're packing a lunch box for their child, say between 5, 7, 9 years to take to school, what should they put in there? What do you advise?
I think these days a lot of children eat from school, so maybe we should be focusing more on
what is prepared from school.
Okay. You know? Every child these days will have at least one fizzy drink, which is a snack, and a biscuit in the bag, which is allowed, which is good. But the emphasis should be more on what the children eat from school, what the school prepares. That is what the emphasis should be on.
What advice would you give these schools in terms of what they prepare? I mean, I went to a school where as soon as the break time is there, you know that you're going to have palm soup with some beans in it. You're going to have, you know, a very nutritious meal.
Those were the days,
yes.
you know.
You don't get that these days.
Yes.
Maybe you should intensify your...
Well, because the children acquire certain taste, and so you give it to them, they are not eating. Then the parents become worried, and so the school is forced to feed them the way, the children will want. And that is where we are now. So more attention. I think every school should have a nutritionist or a dietitian attached to their kitchen, so that
are there enough of you nutritionists, dietitians to guide the schools if every school decides to have one?
Well, I think a lot of people are not going in there because the job prospect after school is not there. But if we have these, I mean, there are legislation and laws to make sure that these people come out of school and they are employed. I think that the training is going to change. I just want to run the venue. The venue is Crystal Rose Ambassador Hotel.
Crystal Rose Ambassador Hotel. We're meeting there today. All the pediatricians in Ghana are going to meet there.
Well, except me.
And we're going to be talking about nutrition and lifestyle choices in children and adolescents. Yes. Doc, I thank you very much. Dr. Osu Setre, I'm much grateful. Dr. Osu Setre is a pediatrician and is a member of the Pediatric Society of Ghana. He's been talking to us about the dangers involved in nutrition and lifestyle choices in children and adolescents. Make sure your children are eating healthy. Don't waste your money on what is not necessary for them. You may just be killing them with your own money. See you after the break.
Welcome back. So it's still here on Newday, and we're going to be talking to some 2 beautiful, gorgeous ladies who are doing very well in their industries. They have come together to form a group just to empower other women in the same field, and also, of course, because when women share their problems, it's how solved. I'm joined by Shaida Buhari Nubi. She's the founder of Tell It Mums, and also Sandra Efia Sapon. She's the administrator for Tell It Mums. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Welcome to Newday.
Thank you for having us.
You're most welcome. So tell us about Tell It Mums. How did it start off? And of course, the name, because I'm sure people are thinking, is it only for mums?
Well, Tell It Mums is an all-female platform, and the main objective is to be able to impact and empower people. So, like you asked, how did it get started? It got started because I was very inquisitive. I got pregnant, I had so many questions, and I needed a support group. I needed friends to also help me with whatever situation I was dealing with. And so I formed Tell It Mums, and then we took it from there. We started with a WhatsApp group and eventually grew from WhatsApp to Facebook. We now have a website. We're also on Instagram, and now we're a big family,
of
yes.
females. Yes. But usually people are concerned that when females come together, there's a lot of banter and, you know, they are upset with each other. Things don't seem to go well. Is that the same story with Tell It Moms?
No, well, it does happen. I mean, we are human, so
Right.
it's very much expected. But it's different. We share different views. We support each other. Yes, the arguments and everything is there, but then we keep it classy.
Right.
Yes.
And I'm sure it's a family that's growing, so these things are
Exactly.
bound to
Exactly.
happen. But I mean, over the years, what has been your goal, and have you really achieved that with Tell It Moms?
Well, like I said, we started off thinking we were going to talk about things that had to do with motherhood. But later on, we realized, hey, you don't have to be a mother to have issues. Both people who are biological or trying to have a baby, having fertility issues, all have issues. And yes, we've been able to achieve a lot of the goals that we have set out for ourselves. We've been able to impact as many people. We have several educative programs like our mentorship programs. We have a medical support team where we're able to empower mothers who are going through be it fertility issue or a mother who is confused about taking care of her child or basically taking care of her own self. Because sometimes as women, we neglect the fact that we do need some information to equip ourselves to be better people. And so as a team, the main purpose is to educate, impact, and empower through information on the platform.
Right.
Yeah.
Sandra, someone just whispered in my ear that on the platform, some stories are put out, and sometimes it seems like people are fabricating stories just to either get attention or get the discussion going. Is that?
Yeah. So I'm guessing that should be the anonymous post, which usually I am in charge of. But no, these are issues that women are going through. These are like daily issues. These are their realities they face with. But you know, because of somebody assuming, well, this is a fake story because it's too hard to be true, we end up posting it anonymously. But sometimes I do interact with these women in my inbox and I'm like, oh, is this really somebody's reality? It's hard to believe, but it is true. We do not fake anything on the platform. Yes.
But okay, beyond coming together, what I'm wondering, do you offer the solutions people are looking for? And if you do, in what terms do you do this?
So we do have a counseling team. We've been able to talk to several women off the ledge. So many people are going through psychological issues and they don't have friends. Unfortunately, the society that we are in now, it's really changed. Back in the day, we had a sense of community. We are able to communicate with maybe a friend, but now you're afraid to talk to yes, you're afraid to talk to your friend because you do not know where your friend is going to take your issue to. So yes, we have people who come and say, listen, I'm thinking of committing suicide because this is what I'm going through. I'm going through a medical situation. I'm going through this in my marriage. And we've been able to come up with a team of counselors that we are able to talk to them, encourage them, inspire them. We sometimes offer financial assistance to some of these people. There's several of them who are held in a hospital, unable to pay for their hospital bill. We reach out, make some form of contribution, and are able to support them in our little way.
But let's talk about your conference that's happening. Who are you inviting? Who can be there? When is it? How much are we paying? And what time is it?
So the Tell It Moms Women's Conference is the first of a kind. It's our maiden edition for conferences on the platform, and this was actually because we realized that there's so many issues that we needed to deal with head on, and so we contacted resource people who have been able to overcome these issues to come and share their experiences, to tell them, hey, I've been where you are now, and it's okay. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be sad. You would overcome it. It's just a phase in your life. And so I don't want to deviate. I'm talking too much. So the Tell It Moms Conference is scheduled to be held from the 29th to the 30th of June, which is next week. We're inviting all women, and we also are inviting the men for a male's point of view. There are some questions we would like to ask the men as well. So yes, so do pass by. It starts at 9:30 and ends at 2:30. And the main theme is Women of Vision, become women of substance. We believe in a more proactive approach to life. So if you plan ahead in life, there are certain things you don't find yourself in, and you're able to deal with it much better.
Okay. But you failed to tell us where.
Okay. Sorry, is at the One Airport Square at airport, behind the Holiday Inn Hotel, close to Kotoka International Airport.
And you don't have to be a member to come for the conference. It's open to all women. Exactly.
So it's just a walk-in. You can come in on the day.
Yes,
you don't need to pre-register, nothing like that.
Well, we have pre-registration. You could go online, www.telitmoms.com, and register. We have forms to help you with registration. It's 50 Ghana cedis for 2 days, and then you could also go onto our Instagram platform, check out our Insta stories. We have information there, and if you have a friend who is also on the platform, tell them to add you so you could have an idea of what we're doing.
So that's how we
platform.
join. You're just invited. I mean, you're included into the group.
It's a secret platform.
Well, I hope you're making that sound occultic, but I know it's a good one. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me and telling us about Tell It Mums. And I'm sure you'll be flooded recently with many people asking to be included on that platform. I had Shaida Buari Newby, she's the founder for Tell It Mums, and Sandra Efiasapom, the administrator for Tell It Mums. And they have a conference coming up 29th and 30th. All women, let's go and flood the One Airport Square from 9 a.m. or 9:30 to 2:30 p.m. on those 2 days. It's just 50 CDs. Go online, find their website, and register before you go. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more here on Newday.
Sylvia Yayura Nyamalo. It's your birthday today. If it's your birthday too, happy birthday.
And to my father.
So yeah, to the old boy. Who will come home, you know.
By now he's watching us avidly.
Yes. Old boy, good morning to you, Sajman. Good morning to you. We'll come home. We'll come home. There are few things.
When Johnny says you come home, that's fine. But Bryce, don't say something.
There are few
Johnny,
things.
are we only going home?
Oh, but when we get home, what will happen? Will happen.
I thought we were sending the diary.
Which tree?
Oh no, but you are sending the diary.
Yes.
You want me to help you?
Yeah.
Bryce said I should send his drinks back to him. He'll bring a whole crate. I said, hey, brah.
Anyway, we're wrapping up. But John Kuma says, well, there are 19 factories that are being set up.
Right.
The Minister for Trade went to Parliament yesterday. He said he doesn't know where the factories are going to be set up. So what's happening at the Trade Ministry?
Yep.
Mr. President, let a few people go on leave as well. You know, I like the leave.
No, give them some rest.
Yeah,
just
give
go
them
and
some rest.
and come back.
Yeah. I mean, why suddenly is the 19th factory out and all the other 18 are nowhere to be found?
No, they'll come, Johnny.
We know. I checked the website of the One District One factory. It wasn't there. Okay. I checked the website of the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Center. It wasn't there.
You know, the websites usually take time to be uploaded and upgraded. Yes.
Oh, I see.
So the people, the IT people there, you have to talk to them. Remind them.
Okay, and then they should let them go and leave.
Okay,
so
they need to regroup.
The guys up there, George and his team in Navrongo, good morning once again. You've been following today's show, and I'm sure you are satisfied. Those of you in WA, IB, Radio Progress, and your team also watching, and then those of you in Bongo also following closely. We are grateful for your time. Have a great weekend. Mine is starting today.
Yesterday I called Abanga Jackson's family. Right. And they were excited. So I'm trying to get an NGO to liaise with him, to give him some scholarship. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.